I love making things which are beautiful. I like making stories, taking influences from things around me, the places I've traveled across different countries, and I use those experiences to tell engaging stories through my comics and through my paintings. I'm Shikhant Sablania. I am a visual artist and a comic book maker. Actually, I started with painting. I used to paint a lot when I was a kid. In my school textbooks, or even the homework that the teacher used to give, I used to draw in those notebooks also. When I was in college, that's when I actually realized that I have to get into this form of, some form of artistic practice, make paintings, and I got into graphic design. And then slowly I ventured into making comics. Because comics, I think, is a very good medium, to tell visual stories. And also because it, captures the reader. Even the ancient, Egyptian, those paintings inside the tombs, till the cave paintings. Even in ancient India, we used to have those pat chitra. All of that basically is comics. Any form of art which tells a story through recurring visual images, that is comics. So actually, Great African Caravan started with this thought of creating a world without borders. Maybe it sounds a bit silly, but that's what we are all striving for, right? We want to make connections across to different cultures and different communities and want to create a world which is more connected, right? We realized that Africa is a place where we can start talking about it, because Africa is a place which is highly stereotyped. There's very less we know about the culture, the history of that place. Artists from different continents coming together and working in Africa to bring out those stories was a very interesting thought in itself. In the month of July in 2018, we actually started this journey where we traveled across Africa from South Africa till Egypt, across 10 different countries. We went there to collaborate. We went there to understand, to learn from Africa. That's when I decided that I will work on a comics. I will make a comics about these stories when I get back to India. When we were on the journey, I used to document a lot. So I used to do a lot of audio recordings. I used to make a lot of videos from my phone, right? A lot of diary entries. All that information slowly started, forming into some sort of a narrative. That's when I started actually conceptualizing how the comics will be divided into, chapter by chapter, how the story will flow. Now my process is basically to first make the rough layout for each chapter, make basic thumbnails, and then using those thumbnails, I would then start making final penciling. And after penciling, I will color it, ink it digitally, inking and coloring, everything I'm doing digitally. After making the final version of the art file, then I will work on the lettering. This comics basically talks about the stereotypes that we have built in our heads when it comes to the continent of Africa. It talks about culture of Africa. It talks about us as, people living in this world and what kind of world have we created. It's not just about Africa, actually. You see, when you're in a place which is always constantly, questioning you, making you question your belief system, making you question your understanding, that's when you actually evolve, right? So through this comics, what I'm trying to do is trying to make reader question, right? Why do we have these borders? Why do we have a certain way or a certain structure of the world that we have accepted as normal? The emotional journeys of people who are taking the risk, the people who have taken the risk of traveling without any resources, without any financial gain or motive, from this journey. The only motive is to connect with the humans, to connect with our fellow human beings, to connect with other artists from different cultures, right? So what motivates these people, right? So these kind of things are the ideas that talked about in this comics. So the comics African Caravan is going to be out soon, and you can go and read this comics on africancaravan.com.